Hello. Hello. Yeah. Hello. I'm back. Um, I intended to be back I intended to be back last week. Sorry about that whole week. I was feeling real crap pretty much the whole week. Um, I'm back in good spirits, in good condition. I didn't get as much done on the channel as I was hoping. I got a few things, but you probably can't even tell at this point, except for the fact that I have enabled ads on the channel. Let me know how that it goes. I think I've got all the settings correct. Um, the yeah, I hope it doesn't scare people off. I'm leery because I'm such a small channel that running ads might not be conducive to growing. But on the other hand, things you can't see that I've got hooked up. Um, the table in the other room is set with a camera for potential Lego building time. In the one room over from there, I've got a game system set up, so I could maybe do games. I'm expanding my horizons. I'm giving myself options. Um, so yeah, I probably should. I'm noticing the time because I've got new things on my panel here. I'm noticing that you're getting pre-roll ads right now at the start because it hasn't started playing its first ad yet. And that's an annoying feature. Twitch loves ads, and you can't just enable them partially. You have to either have them off or have them the way Twitch wants them, which seems stupid. It seems like I should be able to adjust that and tweak that. But I guess this is the way it is. Um, so yeah, as the title indicates, we're breaking out the alligator today. I don't normally do Taco Tuesday for Tuesdays, but you know, somebody else mentioned Taco Tuesday, and I was like, yeah, I haven't done tacos. We'll just do Taco Tuesday. Here's the alligator. I showed this off when I got it. This has been thawing in my fridge. We're getting to it fairly urgently because this little spot right in the front here is a nick in the plastic. I'm not sure how that happened. I think it froze onto something in the freezer, and then when I pulled it, it damaged the plastic. And it's developing a little patch of freezer burn right around the hole, which means this package needs to be used up. It's no longer secure. I don't know if we're going to use this whole thing. We might use half of it and then reseal the top part. It's not 100% thawed either. It's soft enough to be squishy, but it still has visible ice crystals in it as well. So we're going to pop that open and play around with it. And I didn't think that just doing alligator taco would be enough. So of course, give myself extra work. I'll be making side dishes as well. I'm gonna make my own refried beans. I try to make Spanish rice, and I'm going to try to make a blackened corn, like a charred corn. But I don't have whole corn on the cob. I have canned corn, so we'll see how that works. Um, we First things first. I want to get clean up these all these various fruits and vegetables I had laid out for the starting screen. Not that anyone sees the starting screen. Also, don't have room for the gentleman. The top of my fridge has stuff on it. The gentleman got pushed way back to the back. You can hardly see them peeking over the edge there. Let's get out a board. And I'm going to see what this alligator is like before I dive in on it. So we're over here. Here's our alligator. Here's our little freezer burn spot. I'm not sure what shape these guys are in, or according to, I went on their website because it doesn't actually say what it is in here. It just says alligator meat, boneless wild alligator fillet, product of Louisiana. So not knowing what these pieces look like, I went on their website and they say that they produce like 85% tail meat. So that's probably what we're looking at, is almost entirely fillets of alligator tail. But yes, it's Gator Day. Welcome in. I just gave a quick spiel. Let me know if anything goes weird with the ads. I am running ads as part of my tweaks to the channel. Subscribers should not see ads. So if you are subscribed and you see an ad, let me know because I did something wrong. This is soft meat. I can just like pull it apart with my hands. Oh, I see. They're like irregular pieces. This is a little bit of a strange experience here. Because it just kind of comes apart. It's still a little bit icy in the middle. I wanted to take a piece off and like fry it up without any fuss, just to see what it's like by itself. It smells interesting. It smells, Felix, welcome in. What does it smell like? It smells like meat. It doesn't smell bad. It's not like it's got an off smell. It smells clean and wow, it's not a familiar smell at all. I'm not sure what that smells like. I thought it would be like frog, but I now don't think that it's going to be like frog. What do you mean do I have a backup? We're having this. I just said it smells good. It does not smell off. It smells indescribable. An unfamiliar substance. Hi, Zintax. Yes, this is alligator meat. I have the story. I don't know if everyone heard the story. There's a whole story about this alligator meat because I found it at my local grocery store. I don't live anywhere near where alligators live. Sorry, wash my hands real quick. I don't live anywhere near where alligators live, and I saw this in the freezer section, in the fish section, and I was like, "Ooh, alligator! Gotta try that." And I took it up to. It didn't have a price on it. It wasn't. There was no labels or anything. So I took it over to the meat counter and asked them about it, and they said it's not in the system. We don't sell this product here. I went and confirmed with the front desk. They was like, well, "Nope, it's not in the system. We don't. This isn't one of our things." I asked them if I could just have it, and they said sure. And then I went and confirmed again with the front desk, and they said, if the meat counter says you can just have it, you can just have it. So this was free. And I don't know much about it, but I was super interested in it. What I'm going to do to start with, because I want to know what this tastes like just by itself. I sliced up a little bit of it right here, and I'm just going to fry it off in a hot pan with some oil and give it a taste. Just see what it is. Um, tough meat. I guess we'll find out. Um, I don't know much about it. I was expecting it to be either like catfish because they're living in the bayou, or potentially like frog. But smelling it, it does not smell like either catfish or frog. Touching it, the texture is a little bit like extra soft pork. It doesn't flake apart. I'm thinking it may be breaking apart because it froze and it's crystallizing a little bit and damaging. This is not farm raised. This is wild caught in the bayous of Louisiana. Certified Louisiana. So we're gonna find out. But yeah, since I know nothing about it, before I dive in and start messing with it, I'm thinking a Cajun spice blend would be good on it. And I have done a little bit of reading in advance about it, and it's supposed to take on flavors very quickly, like fish does. So we'll find out. Also, for those of you who just arriving, we had a ad roll just a moment ago. I've enabled ads, and I want feedback on how they work. If you're subscribed, you should not be seeing ads at all. But I'm not 100% positive I got the system set up, so I read through Twitch's pitch on why I should run ads, and I was like, okay, fine, we'll give it a shot. Oh, I've got the wrong. Well, I've got nothing on. This is a no cilantro house, Zintax. We were just talking about that yesterday. This is a no cilantro house. If I want a leafy green, I go for parsley. So let's get over to the stove. I've got an oiled pan, and I'm just waiting for my oil to develop that shimmer. And then we're going to fry these up and give them a little taster. I suppose while that's heating up, I probably should be putting together my spice mix. What goes into that? Paprika, garlic, onion. Oh. Paprika, salt, garlic, pepper, black pepper, red pepper, onion, oregano, and thyme. We can do that. The camera probably can't pick it up, but the surface of the oil is developing little moving ripples. That's a sign that it's hot. I don't know it well enough to tell you how hot, but hot enough that this stuff sizzles upon being deposited in it. Wash my hands. I'm treating, in the absence of more knowledge about alligator, I'm treating it as though it were chicken and washing my hands and everything it touches every time I touch anything. Just for safety's sake. I figure that's the most all-round secure way to do it. Well, which also means I'm going to cook it like I would chicken. So while that's getting sizzly, I will put together some spices. Over here. We're eyeballing this, but it's going to be equal amounts of these things. Smoked paprika, onion, garlic. Say, it's been a hot minute since I was here and got to talk to you guys. What's up? What's new? What's going on? How was everyone's? I saw some of you. I've seen some of you since, or during my break, or since I've been back. But what's up? What's new? What's going on? Don't be shy. I love to hear what's going on. Okay, we're getting little brown spots on the edges here, which is good. I'm not sure what to think about the meat, because if this is indeed tail meat, the tail gets a ton of work when the gator's swimming around, because that's what drives the gator. So in that case, I would imagine it would be a bit of a tougher option, but it should take well to strong cooking like a bird thigh would. You know what, I'm going to go with a smoky option. Some ancho. No, what's this one called? It's not ancho, it's... Well, you shouldn't be getting any ads if you're subscribed, so that's good. Chipotle, that's the name of that pepper. I blanked on the name of that pepper that I just threw in there. Okay, the vigorousness of the sizzle has calmed down a lot. So, we got nice little brown edges on them. So if I was cooking chicken, I'd say I'd take that out. It's got a bit of a funny texture compared to any chicken I know. It also wants to stick to this pan, and this is my non-stickest pan, which is kind of amazing. So I don't know what's causing that. Get these guys out of here. Get that off the heat. Interesting. Okay. Coming back. Here's my spice blend. I just did that while we were cooking and spilled a bunch on the edge of the counter. Let's... You did not miss the meat getting flavored. I fried up a little patch of it, just a little bit of it, completely bald, completely naked, just to see what it's like. I threw some spices in this bowl. We've got smoked paprika, chipotle pepper, salt, oregano, thyme, garlic powder, onion powder, and a whole bunch of grinds of black pepper, roughly equal amounts. We're just going to taste this stuff completely bald. This is what she looks like. It looks a lot like pork. It's hot. Ooh. 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 It's not tough. It's actually very tender. It took just a little bit of a crisp on the outside where the brown bits are. But the inside is very tender. Um, it it tastes like halfway between a pork chop and catfish. But it's super tender. It has just a little bit of that kind of muddy flavor that you get out of a catfish. Not a ton, just a tiny bit. But it's much firmer. It's much firmer than a fish. It chews like land animal meat, but like very tender. Like fascinating. The texture is honestly similar to frog. The taste is unique. I like it. I actually quite like it. It cooked very well too. It was easy to cook through, and it stayed nice and tender. So I am pleased. I am pleased. We're going to throw the outer package away, because even if we repack part of it, we're not going to use that. Let's slice this stuff up into slightly bigger pieces than I used there. I think those pieces were a little bit too small. There's also some fatty chunks on here, which, now, they were propping it up when I went to the website to read about this. The website says the lean parts are like pork and the fatty parts are like lobster. I don't buy that. I don't believe that. I think they were trumping up their own product for the sales pitch there. But I agree with the pork part. So who knows? Maybe. Um, I want it to be cut into bits, though, not these big chunks. Um, I am intrigued. It shrank up quite a bit too, so I'm not concerned about cutting these into fairly generous chunks. Little bit. I put this in there last night to thaw, and there's just a tiny bit of ice left in it. So we'll get this in the flavor. I'm just going to put it in the bag there. I don't know if I showed you that I grabbed a bag. I grabbed a plastic bag. I'm going to throw it in the plastic bag with those dry spices and let it hang out. Because one of the things in my reading it said is that the meat takes in flavors very, very quickly. That if you're going to do a marinade, treat it like a fish marinade, where you're only doing it for maybe a half an hour. Ooh, that piece is very dark. We might have some different parts of the gator as well. That piece is very dark, and it cuts more firmly as well. What was I saying? I was saying marinate it like you would a fish. So short marinades. Oop, yeah. And although I do go back and look for this, we're never going to see it again, I think, at the grocery. There were 2 packages there the day when I got this, so that's quite a bit. I'm not going to do the remaining 2 pieces. I'm going to throw those in their own bag and put them in the freezer for later. But we have a whole nother package in the freezer already. I'm a fool. I went to wash my hand because, of course, I went to wash my hand. But I need to touch the thing immediately, right now. So okay. Okay. Probably shouldn't have done all of that, but we'll have extra. I guess we'll have some extra. Oops. How much of this do I want in total? We'll cook all that, and then I can have it for 2 days, 2 meals. Okay. I'll squeeze the air out of that in a sec. This one is going to be our bag for dry marinating. There's enough moisture in here that I don't need to add any liquid to this. It's going to be roughly a dry rub, but a wet one. Okay, now I wash my hands and the board, or at least get the board over here. This should be the last time I need to touch it directly, because I can throw it in the pan right out of the bag when we get that far. I've got another story today to tell you as we get a little bit further. As we progress a little bit. Okay. Spice blend, I already mentioned what's in there. We'll just dump that whole shebang in. And make sure that all of our meats get introduced to it. Okay. Okay. I'm going to let that blobs, a couple of blobs of spice formed. That's going to rest up in the fridge. This one is going to have the air squeezed out of it and be refrozen for later explorations of Gator. Okay, I knew this would not take enough time to consume the full time. Eat these little bits I made. Very fascinating flavors. So, part 2. This is also a bit of an experiment. I've never made Spanish rice. Yes, the texture is like a very soft pork. So it's got a meaty. It's got like a meat texture as opposed to a fish texture. You can taste that there's a sort of muscle fiber in there. The flavor, I think, is it's got a strong note of catfish in it. Catfish is probably the thing that it brings to mind the most, but without that soft sort of mushy fish texture, because catfish is a very, very soft meat fish. If you've never had catfish, but flavor-wise, that's the thing that it's drawing me closest to. It's not exactly the same. It's got its own thing going on for sure. I don't know if they've got a lot of catfish in your neck of the woods. Rice. We're making a attempt at Spanish rice, maybe. Which in my mind is like a slightly overcooked rice with certain flavors in it. And to that end, I'm getting out my rice cooker with half a cup of rice in it. And because I couldn't find tomato powder, I'm going to put some tomato juice in as part of my liquid. I don't think this tastes anything like chicken. I would not compare it to chicken in any way, really. Even texturally, it's not really very chickeny. But yes, everyone says it tastes like chicken because chicken doesn't taste like anything in particular. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work, but I wanted some tomato juice in my boar. I've never had boar. I've had deer. We have deer. I've never had boar. We don't really have wild pigs around here, so I've only ever had domestic pig. So rice, tomato juice, water. Some paprika, some garlic powder, some onion powder, some... Is that it? I was looking at the package at the store, Um, oh, there's a problem with feral boars in the southern U.S. We don't really have them up in the north where I am. There was a whole thing about a guy who wanted to keep his fully automatic rifle because he needed to defend his children from the roving packs of boars. Yes, 30 to 50 wild boars. Um, okay, let's see if this rice works or if it ruins my rice cooker. Okay. Let's see. I wanted to try something with corn. I picked up corn and beans because I'm making 3 side dishes. Mmm. Mmm. These little bits of alligator are really good. I wish this was a normal thing I could just get at the store nearby. Probably would be very expensive. Here's what I'm going to do with the corn. We're going to put it on a baking sheet and see if I can't broil some color into it. But first, let's get it open and see what we're working with. It's very juicy. Let's pour that juice off. The thick water, as Markiplier once called it. Weirdly big fan of thick water, that guy. Yeah, I'm sure the rice cooker has the ability to do this. The thing is, I got my rice cooker secondhand, and it didn't come with the instructions. So whenever I do something that's not just making plain rice, I'm always a little worried because I I don't have a reference manual for it. Sorry about that. Should have muted to cough. We are almost out of aluminum foil. Oh, I just got a notification that we played an ad. Did you see an ad? Let me know. Rate your experience with the ad, or if you're still having an ad, rate your experience with the having of an ad. No ad for Zinn. Well, okay, this is just sweet corn, and I want it to be a side option. It's very sweet. I feel like it will likely char easily. I've got too many things going on. I got to move stuff around. Get the rice cooker a little bit further away. Eat this last piece of gator so I can move the little tiny bowl away. Okay, what do you season this with? Corn. Grind up some gator and season it. We're gonna pull up a reference and see what the heck. Roast corns off the cob. Oh, oh, okay. I can get behind that. I should probably preheat my oven. This is pretty simple. Fresh sweet corn, olive oil, lime juice, and chipotle lime seasoning. Which I'm not going to make my own chipotle lime seasoning, but it gives me a general idea of where I'm headed with this. Probably should have done this in a bowl before I seasoned it. Season it and then throw it on the. Season it first, then throw it on the thing here. Then you can get the oil on it because it needs a little bit of oil. I'm just looking for temperature. I'm just looking for temperature. Okay, preheat your oven to 400. I don't know what that is in Europe temperature. Probably hot. Oh, the oil is the tricky bit. I could put seasoning on it directly as is, but it needs a little bit of oil. So I guess we're getting it. I guess we're backtracking. For those of you following along at home, go back to when I put the corn on the foil, and don't do that. Good enough. Okay, okay. A little bit of olive oil, and this makes sense. Enough to lubricate it. This also would have been a good time to add the salt that I added already. Okay. I don't have chipotle lime seasoning, but what I do have is tahine, which is a dehydrated lime and dehydrated chili pepper mix that it's a flavor profile that's pretty common in Mexico. It's not super hot. It's just like medium spice and sour, and that's the selling point. So we're gonna douse this stuff in tahine. And black pepper. Can't go wrong with some fresh black pepper in there. Everyone loves black pepper just as much as I do, which is an unmitigated amount. Okay. Get my sheet back in here and recornify it. I'm so glad we're not working with the Gator right now because I can lick my fingers and get these delicious flavors. It's always the trouble with working with something that you have to wash your hands because you can't taste it. You can't taste the raw pork or the raw chicken to check for seasoning. So one of the things changing the subject, one of the things I wanted to do as part of an upgrade for the channel is figure out how to play music so that I can hear it and you can hear it. But I haven't worked out how to do that yet. Corn. That's going to have to wait for the oven to heat up, but corn, as we all know, it's got the juice. So, wipe it down here. Okay, our third and final side dish is going to be beans. I'm going to make refried beans. I know I could just open a can of refried beans and have refried beans, but then I wouldn't be making my own refried beans. So that's the thing I'm going to do now. It's probably ill-advised. Chemical, hello! Welcome, welcome! We are, all of my things are in progress right now. We're about to put in the beans. How are you? Actually, get the can open. So I'm shooting for beans roughly like you would get at a Mexican restaurant, which I find their refried beans to be less firm than the ones that come out of a can. And I'm not sure what causes that. My weather's actually okay. It got above freezing today, which is amazing. It hasn't been above freezing in January, in my knowledge, in ages. Get out of the can there. We had sort of a weird drizzly mist today. It's supposed to get even warmer tomorrow. We're supposed to get up to 35. I don't, off the top of my head, don't know what that translates to, but I think it's 1.5 C. And today we were just like a shade above 0, which is ridiculously warm for this part of the world in this part of the year. So for our refried beans, I've just taken a can of pinto beans and thrown them in a pot. Let's get over to the stove because now there's nothing happening over here on the counter. It's all over here on the stove. I've just thrown a whole can of pinto beans in a pot. Ugh, 52. In January? That's absurd. That's too much. That's summer heat. I'd be opening the windows at that point. So I was looking at the ingredients on a can of refried beans, which cost twice as much as a can of unrefried beans. Um, and the normal version has beans, salt, and lard. The veggie version has beans, salt, and soybean oil. So clearly, all you need is to add a fat and then cook it and mash it. Brown beans. We call these pinto beans. They're not the only kind of brown bean we have available. They're the most common one that I run across in Mexican cuisine. I think they're very, very close to the original, like, native wild bean. But I've never made them like this before, so this is an experiment too. Beans, oil, salt, spices. But not a ton of spices. The bean carries the day. Let's throw in some non-smoky paprika on these guys. I've got that back here somewhere. But not a ton. Again, not a ton. Enough to give it some character. I think I want to throw in a little bit of fun. Well, I'm not familiar with any bean that's specifically called a brown bean. So I'm not sure. I can show you the can. Mine just call them pinto beans. That's the, you're over here. Oop. Pinto. But yeah, they're just kind of brown. I think the nice pinto beans actually have little speckles on them. But these were the cheapest ones I could get. Because for a lot of base ingredient things like this, the cheap store brand is usually exactly as good. Often it's literally the same, with just you didn't pay for the big brand label. I am taking the ribs and seeds out of a jalapeno. I'm going to dice up half of it and chuck it in the beans. And the other half is going to be reserved for part of my taco filling. Because these beans are a side dish, not part of the taco. We're doing 3 side dishes and tacos. Oh, I get to show off. I'll do that in a sec. Once I've got this and a little bit of onion diced up and chucked in those beans. Probably should have started the onions and peppers in the pan with the beans so they could toast up a little bit before I put all that liquid in there. But c'est la vie. I did recently do some reading about beans, just in general. And the beans that we are familiar with and mostly call beans are native to the Americas, whereas peas are native to Europe, and soybeans are not a standard bean. They are not a cultivar of the bean found in the Americas. They are a different, unrelated bean from East Asia. I found it fascinating. Probably, probably really dull to hear about it. I've got half an onion that's getting a little bit dried out. I'm going to top and tail it and put a little bit of that in there too. I've never grown my own like storage beans. I've had garden fresh green beans, but I don't think I've ever done the kinds of beans that you dry. My oven is hot. And my beans are boiling. Oh, and you guys haven't been looking at me slicing stuff. You've been looking at the beans. I apologize. I was over there slicing stuff when I should have been over here minding the beans. So near as I can tell, what refried beans are fundamentally is overcooked beans. I mean, literally, they're recooked. Literally, the name means recooked beans, refried beans. Um, um, but fundamentally, what they are is overcooked beans that are then, because when you overcook beans, they turn mushy. And if you just overcook them deliberately until they become very soft and mushy, and then you mash them, you get this beany paste. And that's refried beans. The oven's hot, so I'm going to throw the corn into it and use my nose to see if it is burning. Do we have all of our various things? Yeah, everything's on the go. This will be a good chance for me to show off a thing I just picked up specifically for today. And I was super lucky. I went to Walmart and they did not have what I was looking for. And I took a chance and went to the Goodwill next to the Walmart. The beans are still boiling. I want to overcook them, or I want to simmer them. I took a chance and went to the Goodwill next to the Walmart to see if maybe they had what I was looking for, and they did, which was amazing because they never have a thing you're looking for when you're looking for it. Taco holders. And they gave me half off because the package of 6 only had 3 in it. So they're like, oh, well. So I can actually put tacos in proper taco holders instead of awkwardly trying to prop them up on a plate. I thought I was going to have to make do without them today because I couldn't find them. But Goodwill to the rescue once again. They came in 6 colors and there's only 3 of them there. Boy, the smells in the kitchen here are starting to really amp up. We've got things going on. The beans smell What am I smelling? Paprika. I'm smelling the paprika. I was about to say, it smells like pepperoni. It's because there's a lot of paprika in pepperoni. So the beans smell like pepperoni. The corn's not quite hot yet. The rice has stopped issuing its plume of steam, which means that it's starting to run out of water, and the timer will count down soon. The gator's going to go in the pan. And I was going to do like I need a second pan. I need a second pan. I need that back burner to be hot. I need this front burner to be not. The other element I wanted to add to this was I want to put some bell pepper and onion in the tacos with the gator, but I want them to be sauteed. So I've got a part of a bell pepper here, so we're going to take a chunk off of it, slice it up. It's a little bit dried out because I cut it open yesterday and only used part of it. What angle are you guys on? You're on the wrong angle. You're always on the wrong angle. You're over here now. Get that little guy back in there because there's something going on. So we're gonna. I suppose it's gonna be like fajitas, but not really like fajitas. But kind of like fajitas. Get all these various things on the go. But I don't want them to cook in the same spices as the gator. I want it to be more of a sweet, fresh element. I also like bell peppers raw, but specifically for this, I wanted them cooked. I suppose they're going to have to come out at the same time regardless. Anyway, both these pans want to be off right now. I also like bell peppers raw. Peel them. I've never considered that because as far as my gut is concerned, the skin is edible. So weird. I've never heard of that. Fascinating. I wonder what is in the skin of bell peppers that causes that. Because huh. Well, you got a new one on me. Okay, that, and that. There's garlic powder in a bunch of things. Really? Huh. I gotta say, I've never heard of, I've heard of people not liking bell pepper. I've never heard of anyone having specific, like, can't eat bell pepper. Fascinating. You learn something every day. I don't often eat them raw. I'm not a huge fan of raw. I will in the right circumstances. I know in some places they are hated amongst the children. There's a fun fact. The movie Inside has a scene where the girl turns her nose up at a pizza, and in America, the pizza has broccoli on it, and in Japan, the pizza has green bell pepper on it because the different cultures' kids like and dislike different things. Makes me think that maybe kids not liking certain vegetables is more of a they get it from each other than anything else. I'm just looking over. Um, that first garlic peeled so easily, and the second one was just giving me a headache. I thought they were all going to be nice, easy peels. I want to throw some garlic in with my peppers and onions, but fresh garlic, not the powdered garlic that's in the other things, because it'll be my only fresh garlic in any of my dishes, because everything else has powdered garlic. Uh, this is, of course, a we love garlic household. I don't know that I could cook without lots of garlic. And we're swapping over to the big knife for this because I want them to be crushed and sliced rather than minced up today, or rather than pulverized with the microplane today. Yeah, crushing them first and then taking the skin off probably would have made more sense. You're right. What I absolutely should have used is this thing, which is a garlic skin remover. You put the garlic in there and you go, and then the skin just falls off. Um, it's great, and I should have used it. Like, you heard me. I said, I'm I'm second guessing myself. Maybe I do. Did anyone see an ad just now? The thing said that it has disabled pre-roll ads because it's played an ad. Are you subscribed? No, you're not. Hmm. Interesting. I guess I'm going to have to look back at my systems. You shouldn't see an ad, Bookwoman, because you're subscribed. Chemical and Syntax aren't. Well, unless they have the whatchamacallit, Twitch. My rice is done. Um, that thing that disables the ads. Turbo. Let's get you guys over here. Oops. Because my dashboard says it's playing ads. I've changed my mind on this. I'm gonna do this all in one pan. I got a pan dirty for no reason. Um, this pan isn't even hot. I'm just pushing stuff around preemptively, I guess. The beans are thickening up. Now you shouldn't be getting any pre-roll ads because I've got it set to not run pre-roll ads, and instead it should be running an ad every... I've got it set to 30 minutes. I went for the setting that they recommended. So 30 minutes, and it gives you a minute and a half. I guess I'll have to look and see if it's paying me out for anything. My beans are thickening up. So I'm going to give them a nice mashing. Ooh, I smell corn. The corn does not look like it's had any problems though so far, so I'm going to let it alone. With the corn, what we're shooting for are little blackened and browned spots on each kernel. And for with the beans, what we're looking for is very few intact beans left. We want a real mash, and then we cook it down to the proper thickness. And since I used oil instead of lard or tallow, traditionally this is made with pork lard. I used olive oil, but that means that as it cools, it won't solidify because olive oil is liquid at room temperature. Okay, well, if you guys aren't seeing ads, then I guess I'm not sure what's going on. This is looking more and more and more like what I was shooting for, refried beans. Take the temperature down on them a little bit. I want it to be a light simmer. Oh. That was the spatula for this. This is our chance to taste the beans, too. Get out my tasting spoon. Taste the beans for seasoning. I can run an ad manually if you guys are okay with that. In fact, yes. Heads up, everyone. I'm going to... Oh, it won't let me. What? You recently ran an ad and must wait to run another. I cannot run an ad manually. It said I just ran one. That's interesting that you can't just run ads. They all... Huh. Not only do they want you to run a certain number of ads, they don't want you to run too many ads, which is a strange duck. Checking the beans for seasoning, bringing the temperature down because they should stop bubbling by now. Huh. I like it. It's confusing. Let's see what the Google says. Seasoning for refried beans. Chili oil, garlic, onion. It's got garlic, it's got onion, it's got... They just want straight up chili powder? I can do that. Or I can add this. That was probably too much. shouldn't have opened the big opening on that. That was chipotle pepper I just kind of haphazardly dumped in there. These beans might be spicy. Good thing I didn't spice up the rice or everything would be a spicy option today. And then I stirred it in. They're definitely spicy. They're not excessively spicy, so I'm not. Ooh, it builds up on you a little bit. Okay. Well, I made spicy beans. Yeah. Well, these are spicy beans. That was the flavor profile they were missing, though. Was a smoky chili flavor. Probably should have gone for the smoked paprika instead of the chipotle, because they definitely have a little bit of a spice to them now. Peek at my corn. Corn looks good. Let's get over here and look at this rice. Let's see how this worked. It should be kind of an orange color. Oh my God, it's kind of an orange color. Ooh. Interesting. Interesting. It smells unexpected. Give it a taste. Hey, that ain't bad. It's not exactly the Spanish rice that I would think of. And it's definitely a darker orange, darker, more reddish orange. But it's pretty close. It needs salt, which makes sense. Turn the heat off. I'm actually going to just take the thing out the bottom. Put that there. We can get rid of the machine part of it and just have the bowl, which will cool off a little bit faster. Okay, the rice is looking good. It does need to cool down a little bit. The beans are looking rather solid. Oh no, they're still nice and liquidy. Good. I was looking for a more liquidy bean. When I've made them in the past, and when I get them out of the can, they often just seize up. And that's because they use animal fat that is solid at room temperature. Using oil makes it a much looser texture. They're not super spicy. They're definitely got some zing to them. I wouldn't eat a huge bowl of these, but as a side dish, I think they're just working great. I guess I don't want to get distracted and lose my corn. I don't want to get distracted and lose my corn mid alligator. So let's take a peek at it. And stir it around a little bit. It was wet from being in the can. So that's definitely putting a bit of a hindrance on cooking it the way I'm trying to. This would have worked better with fresh corn off the cob. Just cut your own corn off the cob. I'm going to stick it back in and I'm going to hit it with the broil, see if I can't get the tops to brown off a little bit, but we're not going to get distracted while it's doing that because it will probably burn in a second. Okay. We're coming back around to where the gator and the non-cooked ingredients are going to come into play. Let's slice up some fresh jalapeno. And okay, fresh jalapeno. Yeah. Let's get the heat on the pepper onion mixture here and get these guys cooking. And then we'll toss them around, get them nicely, neatly sautéed up. And then transfer them out and slap the gator in there, and then it'll be gator time. We'll grab one of these little baby tomatoes I picked up, because I want some tomato. Oh, they're nice looking tomatoes for the middle of winter. Oh, you can't see it. That's a nice looking tomato for the middle of winter. Some greenhouse did a good job. Usually when I open a tomato in the middle of winter, it ends up all pale because they're growing them in a greenhouse and then they're gassing them at the last moment just to get the skins to turn red so they can sell them. The beans need to stop cooking. Ooh, boy, the corn is making noises now. Definitely got to keep an eye on it like this. What color? What color do you think I should use for my tacos? Yeah, I mean, this was grown in a greenhouse as well. It's just in the U.S., greenhouse-grown vegetables are often noticeably lower quality than those grown outdoors in a farm. And this tomato, which is definitely a greenhouse tomato this time of year, does not seem to be any worse for its greenhouse experience. Uh, yeah, I was just looking at it. It's making a lot of noise in there. It's sure is a sizzling. We're getting to the stage where everything's going to start smelling quite powerfully. I'm impressed with those beans. And, oh, I'm on the wrong, well, because I'm sort of splitting my attention. I'm impressed with those beans. They were honestly quite easy to do. And although they're still hot and fresh, at the moment, I think I kind of like them better than like pre-made refried beans. I like the looser texture. I find the canned ones often become this really heavy paste that uh, gets unpleasant and kind of gluey in your mouth. These do not have that. These, where did I put my little spatula? These don't have that. These have a really sort of nice, they've still got some thickness to them, but they're very soft by comparison. Um, And I would also hazard they're probably healthier since I used olive oil instead of pork lard. Yeah, I mean, well, Spain's Mediterranean. A lot of the things I have here, some of my herbs in the front window are Mediterranean herbs that I have to. I'm sure they have them year round in Spain. It's that famous Mediterranean climate. Yeah, I can start with dried beans. If I was going to start with dried beans, I would have had to start yesterday. Uh, as much as I like doing beans from dried beans, the biggest benefit, in my opinion, of using dried beans as a start is that you can get really nice, perfect, not broken or mushy beans. And if you're going to mush them up anyways because you're making refried beans, I don't see the point in starting from dry except for raw cost, because it's obviously much cheaper to buy a big batch of dry beans and do all the work yourself. Cost aside, I don't see any benefit to it just because what I just said. Checking on the corn. Ooh, turning the oven off and pulling the corn. It looks like that. We got our little brown and black bits without totally destroying it. That's what I was looking for. That's our corn. I should taste the corn. Corn's looking good. Ooh, ooh, ow, First of all, it's very hot. The sourness from the tahini, the sourness from the lime in there, really jumps out. I really like that. Okay. We're going to decant my. Oh, I'm sorry, Zin. I don't have KEKW enabled. We're going to decant my vegetables into a little dish. Refresh the oil in my pan. Heat on. There's going to be little toasty garlic bits in there because there's no way to get rid of those at this stage. Just to remind myself, the oven is empty, so there's nothing else of concern right now. Just this. It's gator time. And using my experience from those little taster pieces, keep it moving because it wants to stick, even in this very non-stick Teflon pan, and even with oil. So we're going to have to tend it over here. And I can glance over at you guys. Okay. We are Okay, I'm going to let it... I'm not going to stir it constantly. We're going to let it fry off on that side. Gator in the thing. Get these toasty... I've got tortillas. We're making little itty bitty tacos today. I've got street taco sized tortillas. Zizan, welcome in. You're just in time. This here is Alligator. And it just went in the pan. It's been marinating. It's been dry marinating. Thank you for the moisten, Zizan. Moist. I'll do a quick rundown because I've got a sec here. This is Alligator that has been dry marinating in smoked paprika, chipotle pepper, thyme, oregano, black pepper, salt, garlic powder, onion powder since the beginning. That was the first thing we put in there, so it's been there for... I lost track at this point. Somewhere in the neighborhood of an hour. And it just went in the pan. I did taste test it right at the start plain because I had no idea what to expect. And it has a texture that reminded me of a very tender pork, but a flavor that put me in the realm of catfish, but like a meaty catfish. I probably have a little bit too much here, but that's fine. I've been treating it like I would chicken, so I've been washing my hands and I'm making sure to cook it very thoroughly because I'm not 100% sure on the rules, so we're airing safety. For side dishes, we have roasted corn seasoned with lime and chili. I made my own refried beans. I've been talking about how I like the texture. It's much less of a thick paste than the canned stuff. In the pan here, we just a moment ago made sauteed peppers and onions, fajita style. We're going to put those on our little tacos. I've also got some freshly sliced tomato over here, and I was going to have some avocado as well. And for our other side dish, I made some Spanish rice, which is shadowed... Well, it's orange rice. This one was very tender. I was very impressed. I imagine you can probably overcook it and it'll go tough. From my reading, there are a couple different parts of the alligator that regularly get eaten, and I imagine that they probably also have different levels of toughness and cooking intent to them. Our gator has given up a great deal of liquid to our pan, which the little pieces did not do, and I suspect that's probably because this one was salted in the dry marinade. So yeah, 3 side dish. I was gonna just make tacos. It's Taco Tuesday. I was gonna make tacos, but I knew tacos would either not take enough time, or since I was doing a marinade, there'd be this big gap in the middle where I had to sit around and stare at the marinade while it marinated. So I made side dishes. And all 3 of the side dishes are things that I've not made before, but have eaten before. So I knew what I was shooting for, but not necessarily how to get there. And I also had a very, very light lunch today, so I'm hungry. So fear not, none of this will go to waste. We were going to have a very nice spread here. I'm going to put the corn in a small bowl for serving, because that pan is probably cool enough to handle. Uh, well, here's the size of the, next to my head, here's the size of the taco shells. If I use the corn ones. If I use the flour ones, they're the same size, but I only have 2 of them. Because I got street taco size ones. Little bitty guys. So we could probably do a whole bunch in these little taco shaper things. Corn, which, as we all know, has the juice. Let's use a spatula to scrape it up before I scoop it. This corn no longer has the juice. The juice has been removed from it by roasting. I also don't want to overcook the gator, and that's already been in there probably as long as those little pieces were, except this is a much wetter pan. There's also that one fatty bit right there. I should taste test one of the smaller pieces that I'm certain is cooked through to see how they are coming along. I'll try not to react too much in the moment so I can tell you how, so I can react later on. Fucking hot. Sorry, I swore. They're hot. Who'd have thunk? That little piece was definitely cooked through. I'm going to take the heat off and let them sit on residual while I put corn in this tiny bowl. No comment on the flavor, but mmm. Okay, corn in tiny bowl. Oh, Chemical got an ad. Name my show. Ow, it's hot. Okay. Okay. Corn in tiny bowl. Taco thingy. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see corn in tiny bowl. Here's the corn in a tiny bowl. I put some cheese on top of it. Let's take a look at these tortillas. Corn tortillas often have a problem where they start to break, and you often have to double them up for integrity. But we'll give them a go. Nope, the first one was already splitting. I could fry them up. And based on the rate at which they're splitting in half, probably should. I got 3 taco holders for $2. So not a lot. Okay, heat on this pan. No, I know. I wanted to give the tortillas a chance before I condemned them to the heat. Because this brand that I've got, is it the same brand? Yeah. Mission, their flour tortillas, they've done a really good job with the science of making their tortillas, that the flour ones don't need to be re-softened or heated to soften up. They really hold really well. So I was giving the corn ones a chance to do that before I don't normally get them. I need another dish. I want to put the beans and the rice on the same dish. And ideally, it would be like a serving platter, one of those long ovals. Because then I could have the tacos on the plate with them. You know, all those guys doing is sitting there and warming up. Let's see if this... I could do that. Get 3 tacos on the thing here and then do beans, rice. I don't think I've ever had whole wheat tortillas. These are really tasty. These white corn tortillas. These are real tasty. Even just plain. Of course, I'm also, as previously discussed, quite hungry. So everything is really tasty. We're going to start constructing my plate right here. We don't see a lot of flavored tortillas around here. It's mostly just plain but made out of different things, like corn tortillas versus wheat flour tortillas. different color corn tortillas. We can get white and yellow as separate things. Oop. Speaking of tortillas, they started to blister and flake like they do when they're very, very hot and starting to steam internally. Okay, 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 okay. I don't know about beet, but I've had some good experience with cauliflower things. I've done my own experiments with it as well. If you treat it right, cauliflower is starchy enough to stand in for some things. Since you can make them out of corn, I bet it would work. We have to be careful with it because they're not, you wouldn't have as much integrity. I'm willing to give it a try. Let me duck out to the front window for a sec to grab a green onion because I forgot to pre-cut one. And we can once again test the limits of my microphone range. Can you hear me in the front window? Maybe. Maybe. We'll find out when I get back and see if anyone said, yeah, I can hear you. Shining certainly could. Welcome in, by the way. A lot going on here. I got to load up these tacos. Coconut tortillas. I've never heard of that. That sounds, I'll come out and say it, really super weird. As always, when you do show food, you end up treating it really weird. Individually chopsticking in pieces of meat to make these perfect little tacos. Each of you gets some tomat. And some of that. We're going to skip the avocado because I think we have a fully loaded board here. I did choose purple for my taco holder, which may or may not be the correct decision. Here's what I'm going to do. This is going to be my showpiece. And you guys, for you guys, I'm going to make one extra one and taste it. Because it doesn't need to look good. It just needs to taste good. Okay. Okay. So I've got a couple more tortillas. I threw them in the pan. I've actually got extra of everything. So I can taste everything without messing up this plate, which is ideal, because now I can tell you about all of it, one bit at a time. All we need to do is heat up those extra tortillas. This thing is going to get cold, but I guess that's a little bit unavoidable. I have just enough of everything. The corn is here. The corn went in its own little bowl. Let me straighten up real quick. I'll leave this where it's sort of visible. Okay, okay. And then we can bring over the other corn, the bit of remaining corn, in its foil house. And the beans and rice. Okay. Awkward. But before all that, oop. Oh, it broke. Shoot. Well, we're gonna make one taco with a slightly broken tortilla. So I will dive in, take a bite, and then I will tell you all about it. And I think 4 street tacos is a pretty good meal for me right now. I'm, as I've mentioned before, really quite hungry. Okay, okay. Main event, this guy right here. It's going to break on me as soon as I bite it, but let's dive in and tell you all about it. Mmm, 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 mmm. Mmm. Okay, first thing that hits you, vegetables on top and the Cajun spices. Good, strong Cajun spices. Doesn't really taste... yeah, chemical. It was awful. I'll save you all the trouble and eat the rest of this. It's not really a Mexican flavor profile, and I knew it wasn't going to be because the spices on the Gator is Cajun. This tastes like Cajun food. The sautéed topping and the fresh tomatoes go well with it. The Gator itself does not have a ton of flavor, and it takes a little while for it to come through, but it does come through at the end. It has a even with everything I've done to it, the thing it tastes most like, and when I tasted tested that little bit, I thought this. It tastes like spicy deep fried catfish, but with a firm chew to it. It's tender. It's not like it's tough and chewy, but it's got a firm meatiness to it. But it's got the flavor of like southern fried catfish. That's what I'm getting from it. Um, Interesting. Um, this is a great combination. I'm glad I didn't add too much more to this. This is already bursting at the seams, and it's got enough going on. Let's try the corn, and you may notice I put cheese on top of the corn in the bowl. So I will cheese my corn over here as well. Ooh, ooh. The cheese changes it. It's got an almost fruitiness to it. The sourness from the tahine, when combined with this cheese, this is cotija. It's a Mexican cheese. It's firm and very crumbly, um, and fairly salty. Uh, it combines with the chili and the lime, and it makes a very fruitiness. Fascinating, fascinating. I quite like that. I would make that just again because it was honestly the easiest of all the things. I just had to pretty much chuck it in the oven. The rice and beans are served together because they intend to be eaten together. So I will take a bit of rice and a bit of bean, give them a go. Mm. The rice is surprising to me. It does not taste like the Spanish rice that I'm familiar with. And I think that's probably because I used this. Yeah, definitely that. In the cooking, it really jumps out tomato at me. It's like tomato rice, but it's really good with the beans because I did end up making the beans a little bit spicier than I was shooting for. So having a just mild starch with them, and the cheese will help with a lot with that too, really helps balance out the fact that they are a little bit zippy. Um, this would be really good with a beer. I don't have any beer, but this would be really good with a beer. I guess I'll have it with water and some tomato juice. Fascinating. Um, well, I hope it was exciting. I kind of got weird at the end there because I wanted to preserve my plate for photos. But I'm very pleased with all of this. I'm surprised at how easy the beans were and how much better than canned refried beans they are. They're cheaper, took a similar amount of time to prepare, and the quality is better. So, folks, we might be talking about not getting any refried beans anymore. Just make my own. I don't know, checking if I have any old cans up there. Um, I wish somebody lived next door too that I could share with. I think my neighbor, he's at work. His his van's not out there. Um, yeah. So, not a lot of changes for you guys at this end of the end of the show, but things changed in the background. Um, I mentioned right at the start, right at the top end, I've got the camera hooked up by the table out in the main room. I've also got the switch hooked up in the other room, and we may be able to combine these things and do non-cooking, non-kitchen things over there. We're also test driving the ads. I hope it wasn't bothersome. I know only a few of you were not subbed, and you said you weren't even seeing the ads, so I don't know what Twitch is going on. I also know where we're going to raid today, so I don't have to worry about that because, yeah, our old friend. Anyways, I am back in the kitchen, back in the saddle, back on stream. Last week was a rocky one for me. I had insomnia, headaches, all sorts of not nice times. But we pushed through it. I'm feeling way better. I'm back in the saddle. Yeah, so I will see you next time, and stay tuned for potential off schedule or changes to schedule as I may add more shows in. Thanks for hanging out. I will enjoy the food. It's super delicious. It's getting a little bit cold, so I should get with the program. We're going to go see our old friend. I've rated her a whole bunch of times. We're going to go see LaFay because LaFay is playing Darkest Dungeon for the first time. And her face in the corner of the preview looks like she's having about as good a time as you'd expect playing Darkest Dungeon for the first time. Brutal game. So we're going to go enjoy that because that's where I would go if I wasn't streaming right now. Yeah, so we will let this countdown. Actually, no, I'm not going to count down. We're gonna force it. Goodbye. I'll see you next time.
Jovial, hello, welcome in. What did we make today? If y'all don't know Jovial, please go give them a follow. You will not regret it. They do
You the best. You the best.
What is happening? Another one. Oh no. Kitsune, hello, Raiders to you as well. First for Jovial, because you two were back to back. It's like you planned it. Jovial does cooking streams. I've talked about before that Jovial tends to pair things together and create meals that I've never heard of, never would have considered, but they all sound like really, really good. So definitely, if you want to see somebody who can actually cook, give them a follow. Kitsune, hello. I gotta say hi to people. Shining Spear, hello. Kitsune, Jovial, Sizen, hi, everybody. Zareth, hello to you as well. Happy today. What is it? Tuesday. Darkest Dungeon brings Lamat Lagasp. Everybody's showing up. Kitsune, you were playing something else earlier too. So you were playing Plague Inc. in Evolved. How did that go? How was stream for you both, Jovial and for Kitsune? But you were playing something else earlier, I saw. What was it fucking called? All of a sudden, I can't remember. Cajun alligator tacos with sides of roast chili lime corn, homemade, the beans would have to go, and Spanish rice. What? That actually, I would eat that. I would eat that 100%. That sounds really, really good, except for the refried beans. Zara, thank you for the lurk. Enjoy your lurk. Some bee finding games. Cure mode of Plate Ink is insanely hard. I don't know that I know this game, which is not unusual for me, but I remember like seeing earlier, like you were playing something. I was like, oh, they're playing such and such, and I don't know if it was the bee finding game or something. But thank you both for the raid. Since it was Tackle Darkest Dungo, well, I've only just started, so you've not missed anything. We just did the tutorial. And I want to go back because Fortis said something else. Big D&D nerd. Even now with all the D&D information that Wizards has been doing, never mind, let's not get into it. Love a good dungeon crawl, then this will probably definitely be up your alley because, I mean, that's what it is. It's a huge dungeon crawl, but very challenging. It'll probably be much more accessible to you since you're already a D&D player. The stats and the math and the numbers are going to be kind of difficult for me. Hello, Worthless. Is Plague Inc. still out on Steam? I thought they closed it down with COVID. It's a great question. What happened, Matt? Did you have a meeting? Really fun game. You play as bacteria and must kill the population. Since COVID, they've developed a cure version where you gotta cure it instead. Fair. Get gold upgrade, rinse, repeat. Yes, and you, over time, you will repair and like build up the town so that you can like get more people in. No, that's okay, Worthless. So you'll up, and like one of the things, instead of like normal health, one of the things that can really kill you is stress. Imagine. So stress can make you like go insane in the game. It can give you some buffs, a lot of debuffs. It's another thing that you have to manage. Some of the buildings that you can upgrade help you to manage and reduce the stress. It's a lot to it. Yeah, Matt, you missed the beginning of me just realizing I fucked up a lot of things. The name change in this game, and both were healers. Nice. Okay, so we got 2 raids back to back. It's been a minute. We're gonna play the raid video really quick just so everybody can get to know me. Everybody also go follow Kitsune. I'm getting very distracted today. Kitsune is a variety streamer as well as a wonderful friend of skiers. So they thank you, WeFormer, for the biddies. So please go give Kitsune a follow. They are a variety streamer. They play, honestly, like a larger variety of games than I feel like I do, like games I've never heard of, which, like, admittedly I don't know a lot of things, but today is an example. But definitely go give them a follow. You will not be disappointed. Where is I'm looking for something here. Really quick, let me mute this. Oh no. So we're gonna do this and hope for the best. I'm gonna play raid message just so everybody can get to know me really quick. I am LaFay. Welcome. Hello. What day is it? Hello, everybody. How do I turn on, like, like literally have to put little wingies up and be like, and,